What's going on, beasties? warthewise here, formerly War Theory. For those who may be new to my content, I'm proud to be named an official moonbeastgame creator partner. With the First Watch event wrapping up, I wanted to take a moment to share my objective experiences and my favorite standout moments. For those who may have caught my video from 2 months ago, I talked about how this game had the potential to redefine the genre. Now, after spending 20 hours hands-on with this current developer build, I have more confidence in that belief. And it's clear, based on the growing reactions in the community buzz, I'm not the only one. Let's hit a few FAQs and some housekeeping before we dive in. Here's a quick rundown of the timestamp markers and the categories that we're going to review today. Now, first up, and this is big, moonbeastgame is just a code name. It's not the final title. The official name will be revealed in a future announcement, so stay tuned. Next, keep in mind this was an early pre-alpha build. There's a lot still in development and the team is well aware of what needs polish or refinement. That said, your honest feedback matters, so drop your thoughts in the comments. You can help shape where the game goes from here. And finally, one of the most common questions throughout the event has been, how can I get my hands on this game and take it for a ride? While there is no official release date for this game, I would encourage you to head over to moonbeastgame.com and sign up to receive updates and possibly have the chance to participate in future playtests. Kicking things off, let's quickly showcase one of the game's most distinct and groundbreaking features, a fully unique open world. Every player's world is different, from battles and events to the varied terrain you shape. Thanks to terraforming and persistent changes, all the land and structures are destructible. Whether you are digging to make shortcuts or releasing water to cool lava, your actions matter and the world evolves based on the hundreds of hours you put into it. Quite literally, the fate of your world is in your hands. During the First Watch demo, even something as simple as choosing Glyph Lunge over Bloodlash led to dramatically different map layouts. The world is procedurally generated, no two players will ever experience the same map. Moonbeast isn't just building dynamic gameplay, it's redefining what dynamic means. For quick air cover, the current dev build includes several distinct area zones and 4 fully explorable dungeons. More to come on that later. One of the primary quests, Altar of the Gods, unfolds in the Vale of the Old Ones, where you'll eventually spawn the Necropolis and unleash the Curse of the Night Shadow, a dynamic event that can trigger unpredictable consequences around the world and map. While this was shown previously, one of my favorite moments was traversing the eerie purple mist that blankets the world in search of a gloom parasite, an elusive enemy that also happens to drop rare loot. The night and day mechanic is a very lovely touch, with the dial in the upper right guiding you when to be on guard. Night tends to make things harder and gravitate monsters towards you. From lava flows to sprawling waterscapes to breathtaking high ground vistas, the world feels fully alive. A haunting post-apocalyptic fantasy that you can truly get lost in. Speaking of dungeons, each underworld had spontaneous, unique mini-boss encounters that we all experienced throughout the event. In the Charred Fissure lava tunnels, I ran into Charroot, a thorn-covered aggressive husk variant. Not only was he on fire literally, causing constant burn damage, but he also packed a devastating punch with a heavy wind-up attack. Inside the collapsed pit and flooded quarry, a supersized Gulpjaw named Blubberjaw waited. While slow and clunky at times, his bite was brutal if it connected. One of my personal favorites was the Council of Five, a group of shadow mages lurking in the ossuary catacombs. The sheer volume of missiles and projectiles made this fight a chaotic thrill, reminding me of battling Lord Desace in Diablo 2's Chaos Sanctuary. As the name suggests, the Forgotten Mausoleum Undercroft was crawling with bone and skeleton foes. The standout here was the Disgraced Paladin, a towering Borrow Knight wielding a massive sword and dealing heavy single strikes. Thankfully, with a solid Ignite build, I was able to take him down before he became a real problem. On top of these encounters, many dungeons now include treasure rooms that require terraforming to access, adding a fun and puzzle-like twist to the loot hunt. And then there's the Necropolis. Lum, the game's main town NPC, warns about Gnarlathak, a necromancer Lich King, and a work-in-progress main boss. Reaching him means fighting through frontline dangers packed with high-level normals and elites, many capable of sending you to the Shadow Realm in seconds. I faced Gnarlathak multiple times. With my Ignite build, he wasn't too intimidating, so long as I could keep Ignite proccing. But with the other builds, the fight became much tougher. He unleashed a dangerous mix of elemental ailments, cold, lightning, fire, and shadow, along with Scourge and multiple stacking curses. When it comes to monster types and variants, one of my biggest takeaways was just how unique they all felt, from distinct designs, personalities to AI movement. Some of them certainly need some polish, but that's expected for a pre-alpha build. Like Diablo 2 and other ARPGs, you'll run into elite and champion versions of regular monsters, as well as special uniques that can spawn at any time. Water-based creatures like river fangs stick close to water, and they're mostly docile during the day, but at night they become aggressive, complete with glowing eyes, which is still a thrill to see in the dark. Gulpjaws also hang near water, but they're not particularly dangerous and can be taken down quickly. Forest and terrain dwellers such as bramble husks are dangerous in packs. Their entanglement skill can crowd control and stun you, forcing a quick dash, jump, or shadow walk to break free. Bogey variants such as bogey choppers may be small, but when enraged they gain faster attack speed and damage. Bogey bomb throwers lob explosive projectiles from a distance, and bogey tyrants are the real threat here, raining fire down from above. And finally, bogey spearmen keep you at bay with spear thrusts. The world is full of insectoid threats such as blight roaches, who are generally easy to handle but have a projectile missile attack similar to gazers, which float and fire their own projectiles. Crypt roaches lurk in certain dungeon areas, often in tight quarters. Undead foes in the skeleton family include Doom Soldiers, Barrow Knights, Bone Legions, and Shamblers, common in graveyards and dungeons. Mages are especially dangerous, erupting from the earth to cast lightning, shadow, cold, or fire spells. Now, a special call out to the lava zone hostiles such as Ember Ghouls, who can ignite you on contact, or Magma Ferals, who also burn constantly, forcing you to manage heat damage while fighting. One of the most vital parts of any game, especially action RPGs, is itemization. It's the heartbeat of progression, customization, and long-term engagement. Now, while moonbeastgame is still in early stage development, there is already much to unpack. For now, let's keep things high level and focus on some of the core elements that we experienced during the first Watch showcase. Let's kick off with the game's imbue effects on weapons, both from damage and graphical perspectives. Imbues are random affixes that can spawn on a one-hand knife or a two-hand staff. The current imbues spawn lightning, shadow, cold, and fire, all of which yield different damage and effects on their foes. Shadow-imbued weapons are highlighted by a purple and dark mist. When used in combat, they deploy curses such as Scourge, which seem to provide an amplified damage-like effect by reducing enemy defenses. Cold weapons carry a frost-like aura, and on contact, they have a chance to chill, which slows the target. They can also completely freeze the target. Lightning weapons have a visible sparkly electricity effect, and when you inflict lightning damage, it triggers a shock that deals additional lightning damage over time. This can also lead to a bouncing chain lightning effect. Fire weapons have a flickering burning effect that can illuminate your character or surroundings. The element can also inflict ignite, which applies fire damage over time. And as I've already covered gems in a previous video, let's instead focus on common hearts. These function more like gems, socketable into any item except for unique hearts, which can only be placed in a special gold ring socket. One such example dropped from Old Granddad. Some hearts offer the ability to imbue a weapon while also granting plus skill modifiers. Tomes are another great touch. Droppable in the world, they permanently boost intrinsic stats like strength, vitality, dexterity, or magic depending upon the type. Others grant option points, and if you're lucky, you might even find them for sale at Lum's shop. New since the last showcase is our first look at runes. The Witch now has a tattoo page where you can slot runes into placeholder areas, and yes, they can be extracted. Runes can be placed in random items, but if socketed into the tattoo page, they offer unique enhancements to your skills. So far, I've spotted the Bat rune and Ash rune. I also love the direction of the flask health system. You can find magic flasks with extra modifiers as well as rare, though I'm not yet sure if a higher tier exists. Finally, two standout boot modifiers worth mentioning: water walking, which lets you stride across water to evade danger, and feather falling, which makes your jumps more acrobatic and dynamic. As most of you know, the Witch is the only current playable class in this developer build, so let's take a look at some of her skills. She's not your standard caster archetype. The Witch is a hybrid melee magic fighter, weaving fast, up-close combat with devastating spells. She wields knives and staves while channeling forbidden Shadow Realm powers, mastering both blood and bone magic. Her kit is highly mobile, rewarding aggressive, skillful play with a constant risk-reward trade-off. The current skill tree is incomplete, so expect more to come, but here's the core toolkit so far. Glyph Lunge is a lunging melee strike that can generate glyph charges with each hit. Collect 3 charges and they combine into a spell, which you can unleash with an evocation skill. One of its main and only passives is Reprise, which boosts glyph reuse chance from 40% up to 75% with the investment of 3 points. This plays like the martial arts mosaic build in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Next up, another evocation skill like Spinebreaker is a piercing ranged missile with terrain damaging impact. While it had a couple different options, one of its main passives was Umbra, which was a damage over time shadow trail, including stun, mana cost reduction, or a chance to spawn a shadow glyph on kill. A fan favorite was Bloodlash, a shadowy tether grappling hook that leeches mana on hit and life if you invest in Vitae. One of the other main passes, called Ichor, increases the tether count up to 5, letting you pull and briefly stun multiple enemies at once. You can also use this tether to pull in crystals for instant resource gain. Bone Storm was a nice channeling rapid-fire 360 missile barrage, but it is not an evocation skill, however it can still deform terrain. One of its main passive highlights is Knockback or Echo for reflecting shots. Shadow Walk was a short-range teleport that knocks back enemies and curses them. One of its main passives is Scourge, which is a amplify damage-like effect. And finally, they did introduce a normal attack in this developer build, which is a fluid hack and slash strike that, like many witch abilities, can deform terrain. While I have previously highlighted the mechanics such as swimming, jumping, dashing, and the 3D camera movement, I want to briefly revisit them now that I've had hands-on experience in the fully open world. Jumping isn't just a movement option, it's a purposeful combat mechanic when used strategically. It felt natural to leap out of harm's way, dodging incoming missiles, or breaking free from a mob that's closed in around you. And when you chain a jump with a dash, it creates a fluid dynamic movement style that makes combat feel fast, reactive, and satisfying. Swimming is fun and also satisfying, but comes with a clear risk-reward trade-off. You're vulnerable in the water, so enjoy the swim, but don't get caught frolicking for too long. While the camera has been a bit of a polarizing topic in the community, I personally loved the 3D perspective. From stunning lookout points to the verticality of digging or fighting in tight corners, being able to quickly shift your vantage point on a true 360-degree canvas felt smooth and intuitive, and it added a unique layer to every combat encounter. Building on the 3D camera, Moonbeast also offers multiple zoom levels via the mouse wheel, a small but hugely welcome quality of life feature that lets you instantly change your perspective to match the moment. Switching gears quickly, I wanted to briefly touch on how strength, dexterity, vitality, and magic currently operate. As this is still in a very early stage of development, I'll keep it general but highlight the key effects. All 4 intrinsic stats contribute to your attack, life, or mana pools while also impacting your critical hit chances and resistances. Strength increases blunt critical chance and resistance to blunt and lightning criticals. Dexterity boosts slashing and lightning criticals while resisting fire. Vitality enhances shadow criticals and grants resistance to shadow and cold, with magic improving fire and cold criticals and strengthens resistance against shadow damage. Currently, there's no block mechanic, so armor is used to reduce incoming damage instead, and for those who enjoy fine-tuning their builds, an advanced stat screen is already implemented, offering deeper insight into your current archetype and performance. While graphical fidelity is still a debated topic within the community, the leap from the May showcase to this first watch event is undeniable. Let's start with the HUD and UI. Glyph and skill icons are now noticeably sharper with darker backgrounds for better readability. Health and mana orbs now feature a clickable toggle to display or hide text values, a small but welcome quality of life tweak. Lighting, shadows, and reflection effects have all received visible upgrades, adding depth to combat and exploration scenes. Now moving into the character sheet and inventory, the old paper doll placeholder is gone, completely reworked with a cleaner, reskinned look, including an early version of the new tattoo panel. Equipped gear is now mirrored in your real-time character model, letting you see changes instantly. The witch's model has received general visual refinements, giving her a sharper, more defined appearance. New items now have a glow highlight until inspected, making them far easier to identify in a busy inventory. Now moving into the world and NPCs, Kara from earlier build has been replaced by Lum, the new main town NPC companion. Environment art has seen clear polish, mana crystals sparkle with more detail, altar graphics are richer, and dungeon entrances have been redesigned with a more visual punch. From the macro scale of the world to the micro details of the UI, Moonbeast visuals are evolving fast and it shows. While I know the current art style or graphics build may not be for everyone, please drop your thoughts, concerns, and feedback below so the team can take the time to review them and continue shaping the visual direction. While I understand that many of you likely have your doubts, and it's okay to have a healthy amount of skepticism at this stage of development, we have to recognize that what Phil, Eric, Peter, and the entire Moonbeast team are creating has never been done before in an ARPG. That is, creating a fully open world with persistent, player-driven environmental changes. So stick around for the journey. Moonbeast does have the potential to become a generational game, one that redefines what it means to be in the genre and carry forward the torch of ARPGs. Stay wise, beasties.